And so they took over this practice where dentistry was struggling. They doubled in 12 months.
Hello everybody, Neil Winteregg here with Matterhorn Business Development. Welcome back to the newsroom. I am joined by Dr. Greg Winteregg, author and business consultant. We are here this morning to talk to you about some very interesting ideas that we've been talking about here. But before I get started, go ahead and subscribe to the Matterhorn Business Development YouTube channel if you haven't already, and leave us some comments down below on what you want us to talk about next. We would love to hear some reactions from the people that are out there about what you need help with, so that I can give you the right answers that you're looking for. So today, he again has no idea what we're going to be talking about. What I wanted to talk about today was, I was kind of looking back at some of the recent videos that we've done. We've talked about the Uber, we've talked about Sears closing, we've talked about retail going down.
Yep.
I most recently just did a series about Yelp. So if you haven't watched the Yelp channel, two Yelp videos, go ahead and watch those.
Those are good.
Yeah, those are good. But what got me thinking today was something that we run across all the time, no matter what type of business we're talking to, no matter what's going on.
Okay.
Every business owner everywhere is always looking for a reason for failure, or a reason for why they're not making enough money, or there's a reason for this, that, and the other thing.
Particular challenge.
Right, particular challenges.
Okay.
I was thinking about it in the Yelp channel, or the Yelp video, where I said, if you have 1-star reviews on Yelp, and a lot of them, that's not Yelp's fault, that's your fault. Like, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
As a leader, as a business owner, whatever it might be. I wanted to talk about that because I was using a restaurant as a thing. If your food sucks, then your food must suck. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
But we run into that in every business that we've ever talked to. And so for the last 16 years that I've been doing this, there was the economy, and people have been blaming the economy since 2008.
Who's in the White House?
Yeah, who's in the White House, all these different things. And people are now blaming Yelp. That's the new one.
Right.
Millennials leaving 1-star reviews who don't know what they're talking about. But what's funny to me is that businesses failed before Yelp was around.
True.
Businesses failed before the recession. Businesses failed at all different points of history. And so what I wanted to talk about really was, as a leader, you can't be a leader if you're looking at external reasons as to why you're failing. And if you agree with external reasons, you're done for.
Well, I think it's kind of human nature. If you own your own business, or you're a manager, you're an employee, everybody believes they're working hard, they show up on time, they're following the rules, they're doing everything that they can possibly think of, so it can't be me.
Right.
And it's real interesting, when my dental practice was struggling in the early 90s, I was getting all kinds of dental continuing education, doing extra procedures, really trying to do the best for the patients. But in '92, there was a recession, and my practice was in a farm town. And so I'm like, well, maybe I should have gone to the big city. Maybe people in the country don't care.
People in the country don't care about their teeth.
About their teeth as much as city people. And so I was all of a sudden now, because I had done everything that I could think of, I was all of a sudden now just starting to look outside of the practice for factors, because I couldn't think of anything else about what it could be for me. And it was really a day that changed my life when I went to the dental practice management company, and I sat down. At the time I didn't know it. I sat down with one of the partners, and I'm giving him this long list. The strip mall had emptied out. There's a public laundromat and 100,000 square feet empty.
You had every reason.
As a matter of fact, the owner of the management company that I was a client with, paying monthly, came and said, dude, your location is awful. You need to get out of here. So I was getting all kinds of agreement from the staff, even my current advisor. And when I went to this other company, he looked just square at me and said, I have some bad news for you. The problem is you. I'm like, no, you don't understand. See,
my strip mall is empty.
The strip mall, we lost the grocery store. So I went through the list again, because surely he didn't get it.
He didn't understand.
He didn't understand.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I got it. But really, the problem is you.
Right.
And he said, so that's the bad news. The problem is you. Now, here's the good news. The problem is you.
Right.
Because
it's not the strip mall.
If it was
it's not the economy.
Yeah. It was any of that stuff, then you couldn't do anything about it. And I'm like, whoa. everybody had told me how awesome I was, and I was a great dentist, and my staff loved me. And so, so it's me. Yeah, it's you. Well, can you help me? He goes, do you want help? I'm like, yeah. So are you willing to admit that it's you? I'm like, yeah. So what's the problem? You have no idea what you're doing in your business.
Right.
And so that's when I was taught business basics of marketing and selling and organizing, etc. And it turned around in 90 days.
Yeah.
Because what I noticed as a shift for me is all of a sudden I quit looking outside to find the next reason why it wasn't working to justify.
It was the economy, now it's Yelp.
Right.
And then in 3 years, it's going to be
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the gravitational pull of the moon is.
You can always find some reason, and it's real interesting. I have a very successful client in California, and they from a scratch practice, they outgrew their space in 4 years. They just had to blow out the walls. Well, there was no more space available, so they were buying a building, and they bought a building from a dentist. And when they went in to look at the building, this practice was failing. Mm-hmm. The office had been there for like 30 years, and the practice was failing. And as they were looking at it, there was an article taped on the counter in a plastic holder that stated across the headline how dentistry is struggling because of the economy.
Right.
And this is where the patients could read it.
Right.
And so they took over this practice where dentistry was struggling, and they doubled in 12 months.
Right.
So I don't know who to give credit for, but we've probably all heard when you point a finger at somebody else, there's 3 pointing back at you.
Yeah.
That's hard. So if you're busy looking around for the next source to blame, you're actually wasting all of that energy and attention when you should be looking internally.
Right.
And like, what are we not doing? How are we fouling this up? Holy smokes, I thought we were filing the blue folders in alphabetic order. So once you're spending all your time looking outside, that's time you should be spending looking inside on customer service, following up on all of your calls, answering all of your emails, and just like really getting a good communication with everyone. So as you're sitting there being a victim and looking out and finding the next source to blame and justify to people why you're not doing well, that's just all a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's always internally caused.
You have to look at what internally changed. If
Absolutely.
you were doing good and now you're not, something changed probably a month or two before the decline started.
Yep.
Which most businesses don't even keep enough graphs and statistics to even know that. They need to start doing that. But
and I guess
you have to look back at where things were going good and then what actions changed that caused it to start to go down, not what external factors.
Exactly. And you have to evaluate that, what actions changed. And the moment you don't do that and you start looking outside to blame, you're dead.
Yeah, you can't control the situation.
Yeah, then you're done.
Yeah, when you assign control to an outside factor or something that you can't do anything about,
absolutely,
just
throw in the towel.
Throw in the towel, lock the door.
Go work for somebody else.
Go work for somebody else. Do whatever else it is that you want to do. Because as soon as you say that is more powerful than I am, you're done. You can't change it. You can't fix it. You can't do anything about it.
Did you notice we just said that at the same time
together?
Same time.
We're thinking on the same wavelength.
This was not scripted.
I was watching The Prophet the other day, the TV show, which I like these types of shows, but you also don't really get the full scene because it's edited and is that added for drama? I don't know. What really happened? I don't know.
Right.
You know, whatever, right? But it's just interesting when you watch those because you can see where the business owner, when, you know, Marcus Lemonis comes in and starts saying, like, you know, why do we do that? And why do we do that? And why do that? They're like, well, I don't know. I mean, I always tell everybody that we need to clean up in here, you know? And it's like, you know, I say every day this place should be cleaner. And there's like ceiling tiles missing. And, you know, it's like the business owner goes into such agreement with it that they don't even realize how far down they've come. Yeah. Or how responsible they really are. And then when somebody shows it to them, it's like, oh, I don't know, you know, like It's just very interesting, right? Like,
But even the first response is, well, I hired him to do that.
right. That guy said he knew how to do that and he didn't, and he screwed me.
Right.
And you're like, well, what?
But then again,
You gave him no leadership.
You're
You
just
gave him-
finding the next person or situation
Yes.
to blame
I
and
actually
target.
see so many, this is sort of related.
Yeah.
I actually see, like, when we go out and we do meetings and we meet business owners and things like that, I see so many really good staff just getting destroyed by an owner
Yeah.
who has his head so far in the sand, I can't even find his feet sticking out.
Right.
Right? You're doing a meeting
Yep.
and the staff are like, you know, they come
Yeah.
up to me and they're like, he does that all the time. You need to help him. I'm like, I can't help him.
Right.
Because he sits there and says, yeah, we're doing that already.
Right.
You know,
Then there's no chance.
there's no way that a good staff member is going to work for you.
Right.
When you are putting blame everywhere else.
Yep.
It's like the good staff, I always say, I wouldn't work for you either, right? When people are like, oh, I can't find good staff. You know, it's like that manager, that style, what they're doing is just ruining
So
everything they built.
here's what I like to do when things aren't going well in an area.
Yeah.
I like to go in and talk to the person who's in charge and just say, if this was your company, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
And they usually have all kinds of great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I just need to sit down and listen and say, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So rather than me walking around blaming outside factors, I start looking inside, I grab my best people and say, if this is your company, what would you do?
Yeah.
And then they're going to start to say, well, we should do this and we should do this and we should do this. If they sit there and they say, I don't know, it's the economy, you're dead.
Yeah, that's actually what I love about The Prophet with Marcus Lemonis, is the first thing he does is he meets the owners and he gets an idea of like who they are, and then he just goes and he grabs all the managers and all the staff, and he'll like talk to them in the corner, he'll talk to them outside. So who do you report to? The person's like, oh, I don't know. Well, I thought he said that you're supposed to report to this person. No, that guy's never even here. Stuff like that. And he's like, oh, okay. He doesn't make them wrong.
Right.
He's just like gathering data.
Right.
And he's like, this person should be your manager. This person needs to go here. This
Right.
person is wearing 45 hats.
Yeah.
And you expect them to do all of it and blame everybody. Like, he goes in and he actually finds out what the staff
Right.
need to do their jobs
But
better.
to your point, he doesn't go in blaming anything in the environment.
No, never.
He goes in, his viewpoint is it's always here.
It's always there. I've never actually really seen, that's a good point. I've never
Yeah.
actually seen an episode where he's like, oh yeah, this is the problem.
Right.
You gotta move.
It's the location,
Yeah.
it's this, it's that, you're done.
Yeah.
He takes the viewpoint, it's internal. And he just starts to investigate.
Yeah.
So actually you don't have to have him come into your company.
Yeah,
You can actually just do it on your
Just
own.
go and do it your own.
And if
what
you're not
do
sure,
I suck at?
yeah, if you're not sure what questions to ask, watch a few episodes
Watch
of The
a few
Prophet,
episodes and start asking around.
and then go into your business. So
The problem is that you have to decide first and foremost that you want to make a change on it first, because
and you have to decide that it's internal.
yes,
that's the key.
And you have to decide that it's you, because if
Yeah.
I go to my employees and I go, why is it you're doing your job poorly? And they're like, well, you don't let me do this. Well, that's not the reason. I'm smarter than you are. Okay, well, you don't
Right.
learn anything.
Right.
You have to be able to go in and look.
Yep.
But it starts first with the decision.
Yep.
And the understanding that as a poor leader, as a poor executive, you're creating effects around you.
Yep.
Now, that's not to say that external factors can't contribute in some way.
But you have to pivot and change.
have to
Well, then
change,
you're not
and you
sure
have-
what to do. Then pull your best people together and say, what do we need to do?
Right. Our clients that were successful in the economic downturn, 08, 09,
Yeah.
they still had their best years they ever had because
Totally.
they marketed more. They found new ways. They found
Yep.
more things to do. They stayed on top of it. And
Yep.
they didn't wait for 3 years to wait for something to change.
And they didn't walk around blaming the economy.
Right.
They looked internal.
Right. You have to look internally.
Yep.
So
So
anyway,
we need to bring this to a conclusion because I have to get out of here.
Okay, good. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Again, remember, like and share, and leave some comments down below on what it is that you'd like us to talk about next. And if you need any help with your business, go to matterhorn.training or matterhornbizdev.com and reach out to us, and we will help you do better.